Welcome to Brad Chapman with the Radical Vocal Coaches podcast. The reason I mentioned that I'm radical is because I'm not within the fray, as I was speaking with someone the other day, meaning that I focus on things that hi Natasha, I focus on things that other vocal coaches don't focus on necessarily. Now, maybe someone out there is doing what I'm doing, but they haven't seen them yet, but maybe they'll announce themselves one day and say, hey, I've been doing what you've been doing, what are you talking about? But I do tend to focus on basic technique as applied to emotions. And I also focus on phrasing, how to phrase like an actual singer of today. So there's a method I use called vocal muse, which I won't go into in detail right here, but you're welcome to see it on the podcast page on my webpage. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this over to David Liao. This is another thing that I focus on, is I have every one of my clients using FarPlay so that they are learning a little bit about how to record and how to mix their vocals with the music, mix the vocals with the piano, hear themselves through headphones, use reverb. You can hear I'm using a little bit right now because I believe singers should hear reverb because that's the way we hear our heroes. They're on a lot more effects than I am right now. So just a little bit of reverb really makes a lot of difference in how you function. So anyway, so I don't talk forever. I'm going to turn this over to David Liao of FarPlay, and he's going to explain to us how to use FarPlay with Audacity, which is actually a DAW, meaning Digital Audio Workstation, which all of you can benefit from understanding. And go for it, David.
Hi. Just to check, Natasha, can you wave your hands if you can hear me? Okay, cool. Yay! I want to tell you about a couple things that FarPlay can help you to do during vocal coaching and pop vocal coaching sessions. The first thing is that sometimes the client needs to learn a little bit about vocal technique or matching pitch and things like that. And it's useful to be able to have the coach, like Brad, play something on the piano and accompany live for like some vocal exercises. And to be able to sing together or perform together in sync is useful for that. This is not rehearsed, but Brad, can I put you on the spot and we can sing Mary Had a Little Lamb or something?
Sure.
And this is just a warning to everyone. Brad is all the way in. Brad, what city are you based in?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And I'm in New Jersey on the East Coast, so we're almost the whole continent of North America apart, west and east. So there will be a little bit of a lag, but we can try this. Let's see. What key might be good? How about this? Is that about okay?
Mary had a little
okay,
baritone
cool.
key. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to count, or I want to count?
You're in charge.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow.
Okay, so
not too bad.
That's just amazing, right? The point is that we can actually do that kind of together. We can do that pretty together across almost all of the continent. And you might ask, what do we need to do to make that kind of magic happen? So I think of it kind of like a three-legged stool. You need 3 things to make jamming over the internet work. First thing is...
We were jamming. I didn't think of it as being that cool.
Or, yes, very not cool jamming. You want to use an Ethernet cable instead of using Wi-Fi. And for some laptops, they don't have an Ethernet jack, so what you're going to do is get an Ethernet to USB adapter. They make like that this plugs into right here. You hear the little click.
Mm-hmm.
This one is one with the USB-A plug. They also make the one with the USB-C plug because some of the newer computers only have this shaped plug. And that's the first thing you need to do, an Ethernet cable if you want to sing in sync. The next thing you want to do, you want to prevent echo, and the easiest way to do that is with wired headphones, for instance using these Apple EarPods, wired EarPods, they have a built-in microphone. A lot of people have these stashed away in a drawer somewhere because Apple used to just give them away for free with iPhones. And then the last ingredient you want to add to those two is to install FarPlay on your computer. We have more information on our website about how to set everything up, but those are the basic three things: the Ethernet cable, the app, the wired headphones, and FarPlay. Okay, but accompanied exercises are not everything you might do in a pop vocal coaching session. There's other things you can do, like singing with headphones. So let me share my screen. I hope this will let me do it. Oh, you can request multiple presenter sharing for this meeting. So I press send request. Brad, I think there might be a permission message.
Got it. Just gave it to you.
Thank you. And I'm going to show FarPlay on my computer. And I'm going to press, I'm not going to share the audio, I'm just going to press share. Can everyone see my copy of FarPlay?
Got it.
Okay, cool. You won't hear it on your end, but you look over here where it says you, David Liao, that's my information. Every time I speak, the green meter fluctuates. There's a thing called monitor, and it's right now muted, but I can drag it higher and higher and higher and higher, and then what's happening is I can hear myself louder and louder in my own headphones. So if I sing like la 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 la, I can hear that really clearly in my own headphones. I'm going to give Brad a chance to explain why that's so important for pop vocal singers to be able to do.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, there's actually, it's critical. Virtually, if you think about this, every person that you've ever heard sing that you really want to hear sing, you're going to hear them through a microphone. You know, it's going to be Adele or whoever. They're going to be singing through a microphone, whether it's on stage or in the studio. They're coming through a microphone through your speakers, whether it be your car speakers or your computer speakers or your headphones if you're listening to them on headphones. So you want to be comfortable with hearing yourself through headphones, and one of the key things that's really important, and this happens in my sessions, and this is why what David was talking about, the monitoring is so important. Let's say that I'm playing the piano and they're singing in time with me, and they're all of a sudden losing time or they're losing pitch, and they all of a sudden go, you know what, Brad, I don't think I can hear myself. Oh, okay, well, there's a little control in your headphones. You can turn your mic up only in your headphones so that the piano's not too loud. Or you can turn me down, me and the piano, if I'm too loud. And where this is really important is when you get live on a karaoke or you're in a recording studio and someone else is running the sound and you've gotten into this habit of controlling it yourself, that immediately you will react and go, Mr. Soundman, I cannot hear myself, or there's too much music, or whatever you need to tell them. You'll know immediately. And what will that save you from? That will save you from sounding tone deaf to the audience. How does that happen? Well, when you can't hear yourself, you are tone deaf. I mean, think about it. You cannot hear your voice through your headphones or through the speakers live. Can you hear tone or not? Well, you cannot. So you are tone deaf. So the audience hears you sing in a different key, totally the wrong pitches, yelling and screaming at the top of your lungs, and that happens instinctively because when the ear can't hear the voice, you automatically go into overdrive. So it may seem like a little thing, but it saves my students from embarrassing themselves in front of audiences where the audience blames the singer and not the sound man, because they always do. They always blame the singer. Shannon and I can talk about that as well later. But anyway, go ahead, David. That's great. Thank you so much. That's so important.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn this down for now. Okay. Now, I'm going to release the screen sharing from here because I want to tell you about one more thing that requires seeing the whole screen. Okay. So what did we learn so far? We can accompany live, do vocal exercises together in time over the internet with FarPlay. We can practice hearing ourselves in our headphones so that we don't sound like we're tone deaf when we're performing later live. And then there's something else that's very important, very helpful for pop vocal singers to practice, which is singing with a backing track and being able to review what that recording sounded like, to learn from that.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you. That's part of my Vocal Muse program. Thank you.
so let's see. I'm going to now turn on the screen sharing so you can see like my whole screen. Oh, I think I pressed this one. I think I pressed this one. Okay. Can you now see like the whole screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic. Uh, what we want to do is get audio from somewhere like Audacity, a DAW that can play a backing track, and get that into FarPlay. And we're going to do that by using a virtual audio cable or virtual sound card. For instance, here I'm going to use VB cable. What you do is you go Googling for VB cable. There it is. And I'm on a Mac, so I'll just download that version. And I think it finished down. Oh yeah, that was really fast. Okay, cool. And then I'll open it. Okay, and then, yes, it's this one. I think it's that one. Yes, that's right. Okay, so I will open this. Can you see the installer page?
I can.
Okay, cool. So then I'll install that. And then, yes, yes, yes. Say yes to everything. Yes.
I'm still waiting for somebody to come to my door and say, "You said yes to this contract, and now we're going to hold you accountable." It's like, ah.
It reset my audio for a moment while I was doing that. Can everyone hear me now again?
Too
Okay.
bad.
Okay, I'm going to just double check in FarPlay that everything looks like reasonable. Okay, good. Nothing died. Fantastic. Okay. What is this saying? The installation was successful. Yes. Okay.
Yay.
Now I will close this. Yes, I would like to do that. Move to trash. Okay, cool. That was the first step. We installed the VB audio software. The next thing we want to do is make sure that FarPlay can receive audio from VB cable. So I am going to go into the devices of FarPlay where it says microphone, and I'm going to switch that to the input mixer. And right now the input mixer is just bringing in my voice through my microphone. Okay, and I'm going to bring in a new track by pressing the circled plus, and it's no audio at first, and I will change that to VB cable, which I just installed. I'm going to do that in stereo by picking stereo. Okay, but you can see nothing's coming in there yet because I didn't bring any audio in yet. So the next thing I will do is I have to tell my DAW to talk to VB cable. So Brad, your students primarily use Audacity, is that right?
Yes, it's a very simple DAW. They don't have to pay for, so
Yes,
it works
it's
very
free.
well. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll open my copy of Audacity. And then I'll do a couple things. I need to make sure we're using the correct devices. So in Audacity, you press Audio Setup. Make sure that the playback device is set to VB cable to send all the audio out toward FarPlay's session. Yeah, got it. Okay, good. Ta-da! And then I'm going to go again to the audio setup button, and I'm going to press recording. I'm going to go to recording device, and yeah, that's the one I want to use. I have quite a few devices for testing.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, if you have a question about a microphone, please feel free to ask me. I might.
You're a wealthy man.
So in the recording device, you just want to make sure that the audio the microphone that you want to use is selected. And right now, I happen to want to use. I happen to want to use this microphone that's next to my mouth, and it's connected to my Scarlett. So I'll check that. Yay, that's what I wanted. Okay. And then I'm going to edit. Oh, sorry. Audacity preferences. And we're almost there. There are just a couple more steps. Let's see. In the devices, under I think stuff moved around. I'm going to make sure that I have the right device. Yes, playback is VB cable devices, Scarlett 2i2. Where did it go? Oh, quality. There it is. Okay. Under quality, yes, it does say that. Under quality, we're going to make sure that the sample rate, default sample rate, is 48,000 hertz. Okay, good. And then, yeah, go back to the recording, no, devices page. And right now, everyone pay attention to that it says latency compensation is 0 milliseconds. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Press OK. What the so that means that we've like probably just freshly installed. It's like we freshly installed Audacity, and we're going to need to do a little clap test to teach Audacity how much to adjust the latency to line up recordings and playback. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that now. Sorry, I've skipped a step. One more step. I'm going to go back to the preferences. I'm going to go to recording. And for the way that Brad wants to use FarPlay, you want to make sure that you have checked play other tracks while recording, parentheses overdub, or it might be called hear other tracks while recording overdub. And then, let's see, where it says software playthrough of input, or it might say on some versions of Audacity audible input monitoring, make sure that that is not checked. Can everyone see that that's blank for me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Okay, otherwise you could hear a really irritating echo. Okay. Okay. So, here is how you adjust the latency compensation in Audacity. I'm going to press the record button, and with an even tempo, I'm going to count and clap 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, and I'm going to count on the, I'm going to clap on a 4, and then I'll press stop. Okay. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Everyone can see that little click, right? There's a huge spike where I clapped.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to press play just to double check that this actually works. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Could everyone hear that?
I did.
Okay.
I saw it too.
Yes. I forgot to bring my local monitor on, so it was very quiet, so I didn't hear it. There we go. So it should be... I'm going to do it one more time to make sure I can hear it too. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Okay.
And that is so good that I couldn't tell the difference between you live and that recording.
Oh, that's good. Yes, because it's very accurate.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we've made sure that we can hear the recording, that means it's okay. Nothing went wrong yet. I'm gonna. The next step is we're gonna use the key combination Shift R. That's going to start recording a new track at the same time that the old track that I just made is playing. Okay. And as I listen and get the feel of the beat, I'm going to try my best to clap when I think it's the 4. Okay. Wish me luck.
You want fingers crossed? Fingers crossed.
1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a...
Wow.
Okay. It's a little off. Like I didn't quite get the clap quite right on, but for demonstration purposes, this is close enough. Now, if you don't look too closely, it's like, the claps kind of go together, but we can zoom in a little bit. Can everyone see that the claps are actually not synchronized?
Yep.
Boo. Okay. So we're going to measure exactly how off they are. Let's see. We can actually highlight from here to here, right? You can see where the spikes are off from each other.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, let's see, at the bottom of the Audacity window, we're going to find the time values in the selection area down here. And we're going to try to find the length. Start and length of selection. Oh, that's good. Start and length of selection. So the length is reported over here. Right now it says samples. I don't want that. I want this done in hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. Okay, great. There you go. Can everyone see that I'm sorry, it's a little small, but can everyone see that changed to like 0 hours, 0
Mhm.
minutes, 0.048 seconds.
Yes.
Okay. I know it's tiny. Okay. So then we're going to edit. Sorry, we're going to go to the Audacity preferences again and go to uh, the devices and go to where it says latency compensation. And then we're going to type the minus sign. And where it said 0.048 seconds, we're going to just type minus 48.
So I have a question. How do you know whether you just decide on minus or plus?
Um, I'm not sure which way it works, but it's always whatever number this is over here.
Mm-hmm.
I will always put a minus in front. Oh,
Okay.
okay. So there, don't have to decide. Always put the minus.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm gonna press OK. Now, actually, it should be done, but if you want to check, we can do that. So we're gonna get rid of this. Oh no, messed up track, right? Okay. And this time, okay. If I do the recording again, it'll be pretty close. It might be a little off because I didn't quite get the clap right just now, but it should be pretty close. Okay. Shift R. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a...
Oh, it's right on.
I mean, yeah, within
Yeah.
human error, isn't that a lot better? It's like,
Yeah, well, you can play it and see if we can hear it or not. Oh, you want to do it again? Yeah, you
It-
should
yeah,
do this,
it's
guys,
off by
because
only a
you
little
really
bit.
want it
Yeah.
on. Because when you're listening back to your own recording, whatever you're doing, guitar, vocals, or whatever, and you're listening back to recording, you hear that little echo. It's quite irritating. You think
Yeah,
you
it's
think you did
annoying.
something wrong, you know.
So I'll play back, and
yeah.
now you can hear how close it is. It's just a touch off, but it's pretty close. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a...
Yeah.
It almost feels like I thud banged into something after, like almost at the same time. So if you want to get that a little closer, you can do that again. Like, actually, I'll do this. Close this. If you're not happy with how it's set, you're like, oh, I wish it were a little closer. What I would do is go back to the Audacity preferences and set the latency, like start over, set it to 0, press OK. Try doing a clap again, try as accurately as you can. Shift R. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... It's good to see it again. So
Mm-hmm.
and then you can measure from here to about there. This time it was 72. There may be a little bit of human error when I do this, so I'm going to go back to preferences. It's like a small amount, and since I see 72,
I'm sorry, excuse me. I noticed when I do that sometimes you don't line up the
Yeah.
exact spot on the waveform.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say negative 72 because I see 72. It'll be kind of in the neighborhood. I'll press close again, and then let me try again. This time it should be pretty close. I'll do one more recording. Shift R. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Yeah. Oops. Okay. It's pretty close.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. What Brad is talking about is sometimes when, if the latency is particularly high, maybe that might happen on a Windows PC especially, then you'll hear, it'll sound like you're a significant fraction of an eighth beat or something off. You'll be like, oh, it's really annoying. But now I don't have that. So I could, if I wanted to, sing with a backing track. I'm going to not demonstrate that right now, but I kind of performed with the backing track by clapping with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the idea. And there's one more thing I have to show you. I remember this is very important for Brad. Brad's students are pop vocal students, so they're going to be working with people in a studio with amazing effects and other effects in the mixer and things like that. So one thing that you can get used to is when you use the input mixer in FarPlay, go find the track that has your microphone, press the FX button, turn on the reverb, and then you can actually adjust how much it is. Like, this is way too much, right? Haul in a garbage can. And then you could make it just really subtle if you want. Just Depends on what kind of space you're trying to simulate. And that I've turned it back off. That you may want, I think Brad would like you to get used to hearing that as well in your headphones when you sing.
Definitely.
Okay. Now we have a set of recorded instructions that we can share with students.
Yeah, this is
Yay!
great. Yeah, I mean, it's great what you've had with what we've written down, and it's great to go to Fireplay's quick start just to figure out how to use Fireplay, but we've never had a live video on how to use Audacity. So, anybody who wants to know this, whether they're studying with me or not, will be able to find it on my podcast page. First half hour will be the Fireplay demonstration using a DAW, which now if you're familiar with DAWs and you're using Logic or Pro Tools, it's all going to be the same, except for that you can do, well, it's just your preference, The reason we use Audacity for me is because many of my clients are not familiar with recording, and I want something simple so they can change the key and change the tempo and so forth. David was just talking about getting this in line and the echo and so forth. When we're using the vocal muse technique, and David's actually used this with classical choir, which I thought was very cool. If you're trying to learn the magic of Adele, say, for instance, and you say, well, what is it about Adele that is so different? Maybe, she learned from blues singers back in the past. Well, maybe I can learn from her directly what she's come up with. And you can put her on the DAW, and then you can sing along with her. Well, listen first. You do a lot of listening. Make sure that you get the feel, because you can't count on rhythm or exact pitch. You can't count on classical rules of theory. They won't help you. You've got to listen. And then you sing along and you try to match that unison. And then what David just showed you is you record yourself singing along with that artist on the other channel. And then you're able to listen back and say, oh, I was off, or I was a little bit on. My feel isn't quite right here. So I'm going to go back and do some more listening and then some more rehearsing and so forth. I also have a program you can buy, which is on my webpage, called the Vocal Muse Suite, which will run you all through this as a beginner. If you're more advanced, it shows you how to move on. If you're a beginner, I would suggest you go through all 30 videos. And we are through with our promotions. Thank you so much, David. That was fantastic.
Yay!
Okay, so you can drop your share screen. I want to say square screen.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, good.
I want to welcome Dario. We didn't get a chance to welcome you earlier. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to. Oh, wait a minute. No, I accidentally just declined something for you, David. What was you? Were you trying to record?
I was not.
How did
that I know of.
Maybe it was somebody else. Okay. Anyway, I declined something. Okay, so welcome to the a part where we have our special guest. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. That's what I declined. There you go, David. We have Shannon Runyon today, and we've had 12 podcasts now focusing on producers and how singers should develop themselves for producers. But what about actually talking to a singer? And Shannon's been with me a long time, and we have a great relationship. And I thought, man, people could learn a lot from her. And I want to bring up, just give me a second to bring up Eventbrite, because I want to ask you some questions in your... If you guys came through Eventbrite, then you had a chance to read her bio, but I want to bring it up so that I can kind of go through it with you all. And view. I'm not going to share. I'll share the screen once I get this up. But, okay, upcoming. Well, no, I'm with you right now. Why are you giving this? Sorry, I'm talking to the computer. It's a bad habit I have. Total events. That's the reason. Okay. Manage. There we go. We're almost there. Okay. And back to Zoom just to share this with you all. Participants, pause. Share. There we go. Desktop. Share. There we go. Okay. And allow something. All right. Allow system settings. Zoom is requesting bypass the system. Okay, that's fine. All right. Here we go. Okay. So this is her from her webpage. So she's saying, my name is, but I need to move this away. Here we go. Okay. So what I wanted to focus on for you all is she's full-time singer, and I get many, many calls that say, really what I want to do is weddings and parties. I want to do cabarets. I'm not trying to be a recording artist star necessarily. We talk a lot about that with producers because that's where they get involved. They don't really get too much involved in Shannon's life unless she hires one for a demo, which I'll let her talk about. But she's based in Park City because it's I'll let you answer that. But she's based in Park City, which is a tourist town. And she started out with a family, which is, boy, is she musical. Why did you record an album in Houston, Shannon?
I was recording with a friend of mine. She and I had written a bunch of songs together. And we were playing music there, not full-time, but playing out in restaurants and venues. But we wrote an album together and ended up recording it in Houston before I moved here.
Cool, and that's your Getting Better Road? Mm-hmm. Is that the whole album or is it a single?
It's a single and the whole. It's a single, but it's also the title of the whole album.
Cool. And what have you guys done with that? Anything particular? Or,
No, because I moved shortly thereafter, which to her dismay. But no, it's all online, and she's used it for a lot of stuff. She's used it much more than I have to promote her own music and whatnot. So it's still available. It's all online. It's just, I guess I haven't really.
So a CD Baby or?
Yeah, through CD Baby.
Oh, okay, CD Baby. That's one of the most common places.
Mm-hmm. That's where that stuff and anything I've written since then, I've gone through CD Baby.
You want to turn your mic up a little bit?
Sure.
I've noticed sometimes when I listen to these podcasts back, I go, I can't hear my guest star.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about that recording real quickly. So you and your partner had been performing, mm-hmm. but you went into the studio. Was this your first time together?
It's definitely the first album I'd ever recorded. Yeah.
This is the first time you were in the studio?
Yes, we used 2 different studios to record a few of the songs. So.
Tell us about your experience with that.
Oh man, it was a while back.
We're not going to talk about that part.
Well, I mean, since then I've recorded here in Park City as well. So, that was your
first time.
It was fun.
I'm just curious about your first time.
Oh, it was fun because it was a brand new experience. And one place we recorded in some friends of ours, they have a home studio. So like the recording room itself was a closet, but that was plenty. It's all mm-hmm. lined, and we did all the live recording with the band, like down in the living room. It's just cables everywhere. It was a lot of fun. It was fun we brought in a special producer from New York for 5 of the songs. And
oh, nice.
Yeah.
What did you learn from that experience as a singer?
I wasn't singing full time then. Okay. It was pretty. What did I learn from that?
I'm asking questions as if I was a singer and never been in the studio. I'm curious.
Oh, to give yourself time, because I like to get things done, and so I've realized like in the studio, you can do 20 takes if you have to. You don't have to get it right in the first one. You give yourself some grace. Mistakes happen all the time, and when we do it live, mistakes happen all the time. But that comes and goes. In the studio, you take the time to do it right. So if there's a mistake in there, something you don't like, just fix it.
That's great because a lot of people are nervous
mm-hmm.
in the studio, and so that's great advice. It's like, and if you work with, I don't know about your producer, but I find the better producers and engineers are people that help you feel that as well.
Yeah.
They want you to be relaxed and comfortable. They'll bring you a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
You can bring your teddy bear,
right?
Whatever you like. Okay, so this is interesting. Why did you move to Park City? I mean, what was the catalyst?
Oh, it was for a different job I was doing full time at the time in Houston. I was in video production is what was my degree and what I was doing in Houston, and singing part time. I moved here to work on that with a a colleague. That didn't work out so much, but I ended up doing full-time music. That stuck. So now I've been doing full-time music for maybe 7+ years.
Wow, I thought it'd been longer than that. Cool.
Maybe 8, but not much time.
8?
Yeah, I've always been doing part-time, but just this, now it's full-time.
And how did it turn from part-time to full-time? What was your motivation, or how, did you enjoy that process, or how did that happen?
Honestly, it was kind of out of necessity because the
okay.
other job sort of wasn't working out, and I was like, all right, so maybe I need to dive headlong into music. And I think because of the nature of the town I live in, it allows for full-time. I know several full-time musicians in this town.
Yeah.
And so being a tourist town, and you treat it like a business too, right? You go into every venue, or reach out to the manager some way, and you just be very professional about it, and have your website ready, have your cards ready, have everything ready to go so that they can check you out online and see what you look like and hear your voice. And you get to a venue, you're timely, you look the part, you're professional, and you just treat it like a full-time job.
And of course, that recording you're talking about online is one you go in the studio to do just for those people. That, like your demo?
Well, I mean, that stuff existed already, but I've done a lot of live recordings since then, and have links to those so that anyone that wants to hire me knows what I sound like and look like live.
But if you're brand new
if you haven't done any of that, yes, at least
Yeah.
have even sit down and have like a good camera and a good quality microphone, whether in nature or in your living room or something, and record stuff so they do know what you sound like and look like live. Because recorded stuff that's done in a studio, that's nice, but if they're hiring you to do restaurant sets, which is what I do mostly, or weddings or private parties, like they want to know your live presence, your
that's great advice,
look,
'cause
your
they don't-
sound, all that stuff.
They don't want to be tricked.
Well, I mean, you can fix a lot of stuff in a studio. You can't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
When you're live, you're live. So yeah.
The rumors have gotten so bad that people think you can do things in studio you cannot do.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, and auto-tune only can do so much, for instance, and then reverb. Some people think the reverb is a way of covering up bad singing. No,
Just makes it echo more.
Exactly. Anyway, so it's so you're the people who are hiring you, though, they hear these things, and they've been burnt probably before.
Probably.
Yeah, somebody gave them a recording they spent a couple of grand on, and came in and totally blew the gig, and then they go, "Oops, well, we're not going to go that way again."
Mm-hmm.
I've done some of your kind of work as well. I was a full-time singer for many years, mostly with bands, but then I did some solo gigs. Nice thing about solo gigs is not having to work with other people that can be difficult to
Just
deal
allows
with.
for more artistic freedom too. For example, if I have a tough day and my voice is sitting lower, I can adjust everything I'm singing to where my voice needs to be. Whether I take it down and transpose on a piano, or I take the capo off the guitar, I just skip certain songs. That's much more doable when you're working alone.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I would like people to know about is how do you handle, how many hours a week do you sing?
I sing at least 6 days a week.
Whew.
I take
Many singers would go, what?
I take Monday nights off, and some days I have, like on the weekends, like next Saturday, or tomorrow I have 2 a day, next Saturday I have 2. Usually take Mondays off to rest. But
And you mentioned, but you sing in church on Sunday.
I sing at church tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, so
And then I have a gig tomorrow night. So.
how do you do that? How do you handle that? That's amazing.
Oh my goodness, trial and error. Years of doing this and having to realize you have to rest. I don't think I could be a teacher or a mom of a bunch of kids and do this. I don't talk a lot. Once I'm done talking to you guys today, because I sang last night in a bar and my throat's tired, and once I'm done with you guys today, I'm not going to talk until my gig tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm just going to keep my voice quiet.
I would say we appreciate
Yeah. So sleep, a lot of good sleep. Even some days if I've had a long, tiring couple of weeks, if I have a day off, I'll let myself lie in bed until I don't want to. Just because the body needs the rest, the voice needs the rest. Not a lot of sugar, not a lot of alcohol, although this is probably a no-no for most people, but if my throat really hurts, I will sip whiskey while I'm singing. And then I'm not sponsored by these guys, but I don't go to a gig. I have backup of this stuff at all times. And and I buy this for my fellow musicians and anyone that I know that sings. It's called Barleans. You can get it on Amazon.
What flavor do you?
The one I have is olive leaf complex.
Okay.
And you don't even hit the mouth. You aim for the throat. I hit the back of my throat with it. And I might use it 20 times in a gig just if my throat's tired or sore. And it's I can type it in the notes, but it has saved me from losing my voice more than once.
Do you say "aw" when you spray it? Or anything like that?
I will say ah,
Yeah.
and I
good.
hit right back there. Ah.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Yeah. Say "aw" while you're doing it.
Yeah, because it opens things up.
Yeah, I had a doctor warn me. He says, don't breathe that in. You might create a little bit of pneumonia.
And this actually tastes delicious too. So even if you get it in your mouth, it tastes really good.
Does it have an aroma to it?
It's got kind of a minty flavor.
Minty, okay.
Mm-hmm. So you can find this on Amazon. It's Barleans and apostrophe S. And you type in olive leaf complex, and I recommend the peppermint flavor. And I've literally been using this for probably 6 or 7 years, and I never am without it.
That's great.
And then I've started using this on days when I'm really tired. The steamer.
Oh, the nebulizer, yeah.
Yeah.
Or steamer?
It's the steamer. Mm-hmm.
So it's hot?
No, it's, I say steamer because it makes all those vapors, so I guess it's a vapor.
Yeah.
And to moisturize your throat. It just comes with all these little
attachments.
I don't use this that often, but I will use it today because, again, my throat's really tired today. So.
Well, in Park City, guys, the humidity is like it is here in Las Vegas. It's very low.
Yeah.
And the altitude.
Yeah.
So she's singing in not the worst, but almost the worst possible situation. If you live in L.A. or Atlanta or New York, you don't have to deal with that. While it's triggering my memory, here in Vegas, there's actually a saying that the doctors use. It's called Vegas throat. And what happens is a celebrity comes into town, and they start their sound check or their rehearsal, and they're 15 minutes into it, and they can't talk. I mean, they'll lose their voice, and so they call whoever they can find that understands the voice. I won't say his name because I'm not sure I'll remember it, but there's a ENT guy I like a lot here in Vegas. But that's what they tell them. You don't have any humidity in the air, and so your vocal cords are used to having lubrication. That's part of what you're doing when you're spraying that, giving them lubrication. And so therefore, they're like pistons in your car without oil, and they just seize right up. They can't vibrate. So you'll get, and of course that could be anywhere from a little hoarseness to not being able to talk at all. And I have students here that have been here a long time. They don't even notice. It amazes me. My voice is still affected by it. But so Shannon is a great person to listen to in this respect because she's the real thing. I mean, she's actually doing it. So if you want to sing full time, whether it be on the road as doing your own thing, or if you want to be doing the weddings locally or whatever. I know I had a friend named Joe Muscolino, and he had bands out on nights he wasn't even performing. So you can even do that. You've probably never done this, Shannon, but and actually because it's just you, it might be kind of difficult to do. But he had the Joe Muscolino band. You could have the Shannon band, and you could send a trio out, and you wouldn't even be there. And you take your commission off the top. That's what he did. I thought it was kind of clever, but anyway, what else do you do?
Well, I think one of the things that allows me to do it as well is I don't sing in bars all the time, maybe twice a month. I mostly do dinner sets. So people don't want you in their face for that. You can call it a wallpaper gig, but a lot of them people do make requests still, and they're listening, but not always.
What does that mean, wallpaper?
It means that you are the ambiance in the background. So I'll be in a venue where I'm playing piano or guitar or both, going between the two, and singing music that people know and they can make requests, but not necessarily, but not like last night was a bar. It's a lot more energy, a lot more tiring. But I think because I don't sing bars all the time, I'm not sweating and screaming in a mic for, I can do this. It allows me. Plus, and this is a plug for you, Brett, but it's just also learning, having a good voice teacher. That I have so many years of voice lessons with you, and I have them labeled like some like strong voice, meaning I had a really good day and you pushed me hard. Tired, worn out voice stuff. So I know like if I need to warm up, I use certain warm ups and things I've done with you and techniques to make sure I'm warming up the right way for what my voice needs that day. So proper warming up and not doing gigs. If you want to do full-time stuff, not doing gigs where you're stressing yourself on a stage every night. Some gigs you're just singing pretty and you're enjoying it and you are singing everything the way your voice wants to sing, and you come home at night and your voice isn't even tired. So I have a lot of nights like that.
That's great.
But I always show up, not always, but almost always have my tea and my voice, and like my spray. I've learned that wine dries my voice out. Water isn't quite lubricant enough, which is why I'll sip on whiskey quite often, but not always by any means. And I change keys of songs too. Like people request music and I'll say, absolutely. I said, I'll do it in my style. Hope that's cool. There's certain people I know I can't sing, and I'm not going to try to sing that and wreck my voice to sing a song. Like, for example, I can't do the Whitney Houston high stuff. And like some of the like Celine Dion and all, like people will request that. I'm like, listen, I have learned one thing about my voice, like, and I'll just be super honest with people. I'm like, who else do you like? And they'll, give suggestions, and I'll look up songs. I often actually take requests on my phone. I'll find it online and play it. If I've heard it enough, I'll take requests and do it that way, but I'll adapt the key to me. So I'm not trying to scream to a song that's no one's going to enjoy anyways, because it won't sound good.
Yeah. Take notes, everyone.
Adapt it to where my voice will do a good job with it. And I know I'll be confidently going into a song, because I've tried songs before where I go into it and try to sing it in a certain key I know is not good for me, and I am sweating halfway through just because I know I'm wrecking the song. I know it's not the way I should have done it. So I definitely will change the key of the song at all times if
and
needed.
That doesn't mean that you are like taking a coward's way out. I mean, that's the smart thing to do.
Well,
it's not something anyone should feel embarrassed about. Sometimes people feel like they have failed because they lowered the key. No. That means you've succeeded because you've lowered the key. Yeah.
Just everyone's vocal cords are different. Everyone's voices are different, and some people can't sing lower songs that I can do. Like I can do Tracy Chapman all gosh darn day. But some people can't. They have to be up in the higher register range. And it's kind of fun to take songs that are a certain way and sort of switch it up to your style. I've heard people say a lot like, ooh, I love your take on that, or I like the twist you did to that, or your rendition's pretty cool. Not always. I mean, not everyone compliments everything I do by any means, but I do hear that back, like people like the take I take on something. And I feel the same way. Like if I go out and I hear a musician, if I want it to sound just like the radio, I'm going to download the song or turn the radio on, or, I like to hear people's take on something. And I think that's why the Coffee House Music app or on SiriusXM, whatever, I think it does so well, because these musicians take these songs and they change them up, but they're still the song, but you're like, oh, that's a cool version. Like I hadn't thought to sing it or play it that way. So I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a song and completely making it your style. Now, if you can do a song just like the artist, like there's a few artists that I really sound a lot like, and I can do it their way, and it's so whatever. If I can, sure, why not? But there's also I like the creativity of someone taking a song and making it suit who they are. Otherwise, it's not fun to listen to either, because if they don't sing it well, it doesn't fit their voice. You're like, oof, that's way out of your register or whatever. Like it sounds better when someone makes a song suit them, or just maybe skip it. In my opinion of what I've.
All right, so I think this question will resonate with you. It does most artists. So over your lifetime, you've listened to various artists that you've loved, that you've particularly wanted to maybe not sound like, but you've learned from. Would that be fair to say? In other words, where do you? So to make the question obvious, you are able to make it yours. How are you able to do that? What knowledge do you have that makes it so you can take Celine Dion's song, make it yours?
Well, first of all, I don't sing Celine Dion.
Okay. Well, you said it.
I know what you mean. That's from that's honestly, and people aren't going to want to hear this part. That's from experience. It's
I hope
because because people want to it's like someone that picks up guitar. It's not fun to learn because they want to sound like the guitarist right away.
Right.
Your voice, I think, is the same way.
Yep.
You got to learn your voice. You got to learn what makes it work and what stresses it out and what songs sort of suit your voice sort of lends itself to. Like my voice really lends itself to kind of blues, and a lot of pop songs, I guess. But
That's a great sound.
and
Very unique.
so it's come from years of me trying to sing stuff a certain way that I shouldn't have done, and just really, and through voice lessons too, you start learning your own voice quality, your own what sounds good, what works well, and you just trial and error figure out stuff that works for you, and how to then take songs that aren't necessarily yours, and aren't necessarily your style, is what I'm trying to say, and adjusting it to kind of suit your voice and adapt it to you. That's much easier when you play for yourself. So
Yeah.
I accompany myself all the time. Rarely am I not accompanying myself, almost never, except maybe Sunday mornings at church sometimes. But so when you're doing that, you can really, really adapt it to yourself, because you're picking the guitar, or you're playing the piano, and you're able to make it your own completely that way. So I would say that's really taking time to get to know your voice, and don't try to sound like someone else. Like, don't try to, you're like, that artist sounds awesome, you try to sound like them. Okay, maybe you will, or maybe you can, but it's way more fun to sound like you, and just let your voice come out, and then work on the music that you like, that resonates, because people will make requests all the time. I keep notes of them. I'll go in, I'll listen to them, and if that song, I'm just like, ugh, I don't learn it. But half of my songbook, which probably has 600 songs in it now, are because people, at least half of it, because people are like, oh, I like this song, you should give it a listen, I think it'd work for you. And I'll listen to it, and I'm like, this song's awesome. And then I'll learn it. And I'll learn it not exactly like them either. I'll learn it enough, and then I kind of do my own thing to it. But take time to take requests, because people are listening to you, so they'll hear your voice, and I take requests really seriously. I don't delete them on my phone until I've taken time to listen to them, because they can hear, everyone loves music. Everyone loves their certain kind of music. They're listening to the radio. They're going to concerts. They'll hear your voice, and they'll be like, I think this would suit you. And I'll go home and listen to it, and 9 times out of 10, they're right. So, I think it's good to listen to people that are listening to you.
Yeah.
Take their advice. And again, I've had plenty of songs where I'm like, I just don't like it, so I don't take my time and energy to learn it. But very often I do. So.
And it does take time and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, people on it at the instant. And that's where you got to watch out for Instagram and YouTube. Everybody's, not everybody, but there's a lot of people that are selling, you can learn to play the guitar in 5 minutes. You can learn how to sing in a month, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, if you want to waste your money. But the worst part about that is that you learn things that are bad from those programs, and then you paid to learn something that you have to later on unlearn. So would you, sorry, go ahead.
I'll just say one more thing around that. If you're trying too hard to sound like someone else, and you're pushing your voice to a place that is not meant for your voice, you're not going to be able to sing full time. Because you are wrecking your voice every time you're going in there to sing, because you want to sound a certain way or sound like a certain artist, and you won't be able to do it full time. So I've had to learn to really listen to my voice and give it what it wants. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise, every night I'd come home with a sore throat, and the next day I would be worse and worse and worse for the wear. So taking time to rest, listening to your voice, sing songs in a way that suit you.
So would it be fair to say that, you also mentioned that you grew up in a family of musicians.
Yeah.
And music. So would it be fair to say that your subconscious is extremely full of ideas and music and things that it can change and do and experiment with and all those kinds of things?
I'd say that's more accurate because I was raised in alto.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was raised singing everything, never singing the lead, right?
Right.
So now I think that's actually been, I'm glad you mentioned that. I think that's been really beneficial, because I can hear a song and I can sing the lead, but I'll also take a song and often sort of change up the pattern a little bit because my ear knows where the alto is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll sometimes just change it up to make it more fun for me. If the audience likes it, that's cool. Make it more fun because I can hear where the other notes lie. Because even at church now, like we're getting ready for Christmas Eve, I'm mostly singing tenor. They have me hitting a lot of tenor stuff. And so I think learning to sing is awesome. Learning to sing lead is great. If you can also learn where alto lives, where tenor lives, where second soprano lives, like that, it's super beneficial and allowing you to be more creative when you are covering songs. Because I do mostly at dinners and stuff like that and restaurants, I do mostly covers. I'll do my originals if people request them or if I'm playing an event that people want originals. But
well, that's a place you use your previous knowledge as well, right? When you're doing your originals, you're using that previous knowledge, just kind of flowing out of you as you create things. Is that fair to say? Yeah.
Sometimes. It's often a labor of love for me to write. It doesn't. Some certain songs I've written in half an hour. Some songs have taken. I have multiple songs that are years, just haven't done anything with for years. So.
Well, I've noticed that people who have a hard time accepting mistakes have a hard time writing because that's something you get to do a lot of is make mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, you throw something out, or I would throw something out if I was writing a song. I won't speak for you. It's like, I didn't like that. So let's try it again. Well, no, didn't like that. Mm-hmm. So, and then eventually you feel, okay, well, yeah, maybe I can live with that. That's not too bad. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of leading to a little bit of talking about my vocal muse program again. So you learn from other artists not so that you sound like them. That's not the point. Right. You learn from other artists so that you can make up your own.
Right.
Now, if you do want to be a legend singer, and I do have a student who was with me for a long time, Deborah Magoni, who's in Rochester, New York, is doing a tribute band for Bonnie Raitt, but as Bonnie Raitt.
Very cool.
Not for Bonnie Raitt.
Love Bonnie.
And she's I've never asked her age. I'm not going to do that, make that mistake, but she's probably in 50s or 60s, and she's out there playing rock guitar and blues and, dancing around doing her Bonnie Raitt stuff, and she's having a blast because she takes really good care of her voice and herself. Mm-hmm. That's another thing that Shannon has not mentioned. She takes care of herself. She did mention it briefly, but let's put a little emphasis on that.
I do go to the gym.
Sleep. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah.
I go to the gym, I get good sleep. Last winter I sat in the steam room a lot because Brad said so.
That's the only reason.
Yeah. I'm going to say a couple of things that you also said to do. One thing is really good to do. Record yourself live when you're at a gig. Because I'll do things, I'm like, that sounded cool. And then I'll listen to it back, I'm like, don't do that again. Because you don't actually, what you think you sound like in your head and what you sound like live, or it's a trick you do with your voice or something, you think, oh, this works great. And because you told me to listen to it back, I've done that, and a few times I'm like, I gotta stop doing that because that doesn't actually work. So that's one of your tips. It's like, so Brad was saying, record yourself, listen to it. So I'll record it and listen to it on my drive home, and I'm like, it's been very helpful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. For people who've been watched a lot of the other podcasts, we've also talked about the opposite of that is for the singer not to be overly critical. But what she's talking about is her life. I mean, she doesn't have a producer, she doesn't have somebody else. But
It's
and it depends on what you're listening for.
It's not so much critical, though, is to you try something.
Yeah.
You're like, I think that works. And then you listen to it back, you go, no, I probably should. And I have caught myself swallowing words or doing little tricks with my voice I think work. And no, maybe that's not quite the right thing for me to do with my voice. It doesn't quite fit. It's not being critical of yourself. It's just trying to improve on what you're doing.
Right. And people in the studio are being too critical. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Thank you for bringing that up. And just another thing about Fireplay we didn't talk about when David was giving his wonderful course on it. Because we're our audio, Shannon, David, and I are through Fireplay, we can crossover talk. So if I'm talking and she starts talking, I can hear that she's talking. I'm not Zoom. We don't use Zoom because we can't hear that. We have these problems where, I didn't hear what you said. Oh, go ahead. I have to yell because I have to yell over you. Well, I don't want that in my teaching, so I don't do it for my teaching, and I don't do it for the quality of these podcasts. and really been enjoying that. And I think you guys can hear it too, that Shannon and I are talking at the same time, and you get to hear what both of us say. Not that we're in a big ego trip here, but I didn't cut Shannon off in the middle of her sentence. You got to hear both. So let's go ahead and open it up to questions. You've been terrific. Thanks so much. Now, if you're on Zoom, you'll have to do the chat, but Shannon can see your questions and answer them, and I'm available for questions as well if you want anything about Shannon and I's relationship with vocal technique. It's another reason I really like her, because she takes care of her voice and she sees that as something important, and so she sees I'm important. That is important to me. Okay, go ahead. Okay, pull up my chat window so I can see what you guys are doing.
Oh, I posted the Barlene stuff, but then
Oh, yeah.
I went to just you, so I'm trying to add it to everyone's. So.
Oh, yeah, I see the Pro Tools are great. Yeah, some other comments. Cool.
Oh, so the Natasha, if you're asking about Copy House, you asking me that question? I just will type in, like, let's say it's Bonnie Raitt's Guilty, and I'll type in lyrics. And then usually it comes up in, what's that guitar app? And I'll do it right now. It's, what's this app? Oh, Ultimate Guitar. So I'll just pull up like something like this, and then just because I don't read music anymore on the piano like I used to, so I just read the notes over the guitar part, and I just sort of improvise. And if I remember how the licks go, then I'll do that. But I just sort of punch it in through a search engine. Like, this is a song someone recommended, Hey Driver by Zach Bryan. So I need to listen to the song because like I said, I take requests seriously. This is one of them, and I put them in this way so I can go through and just check them all out. But that's how I pull up lyrics and chords, because that way I can see all the lyrics and chords and I can play through it. So
It's a great idea.
some people pay for like the actual Ultimate Guitar app. I don't bother. I just punch it in, and I think if you do it through the app, you can change the key, and there's no ads in it, so I do have to deal with the ads, and I can't change the key through the app. So I guess it's maybe shooting myself in the foot that way, but it's worked for me so far. There. That's in case anyone wants it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see both the throat spray.
Oh, no, I definitely get hired to do backing vocals. I wouldn't say I do a ton of that, but that's definitely been something I do. So if people want it, I just had someone recently bring that up, so for sure. Especially if you can do harmonies and stuff, people will write and use you for stuff, so.
So you write out the harmonies?
No, I just
No,
step in.
Sing 'em, yeah. So they asked you to come in and sing, like
Yeah,
at church? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it depends on what it is. I've sang on several friends' albums, and
Oh,
so do you harmonize melodies, or do you prefer someone else to do that? Well, when I'm singing by myself, obviously I'm doing the lead, but if I'm singing with other people, I'll do melodies or harmonies all day long. If people want to do lead, I don't mind. I just do harmony. If backing singing, I just know where the alto is typically. So if I walked into, I used to sing with a girl who would always bring in random songs, or she'd be like, I just wrote this song, I'm going to sing it. And I used to challenge myself to be able to follow her and sort of feel where the song was going, and maybe what the next words were. Or if I couldn't quite figure that out, I'd at least find the alto in my head or a good harmony to go with it. That was really good practice, because she didn't really care. She'd be like, I'm doing this song, and I'd be sitting there like I got nothing to do. So I would really work to be like, oh yeah, well, I can help you with this. So if someone has a particular harmony part they want me to do, like right now we're doing an a cappella song for church, 7-part, harmony, and they have sent me exactly what I'm supposed to sing. So I'm just memorizing that. I'm just listening to it on repeat so that it's going to sound really good, beautiful, because there's so many parts. But I have to, if it's something
7
someone
parts,
wants
wow.
exactly, if it's something, maybe 6, but if someone has an exact harmony they want me to sing, I'll learn that. But if someone's like, just come in and do harmonies, then I'll go in and they'll have them send me the song and I'll listen to it, and then I'll just go in and I can record it a few times or whatever, and then they can pick what they want. So yeah.
Where can we contact you? Yes.
Oh, let me type my website in here. Or I'll just put my Gmail in there too.
It's very nice of you to do that for people. I found that all the guests so far have been very open about that. We don't want to take advantage of a professional's time, but this is a win-win situation for all of us. So, I've noticed that the guests say they learn things. I know I learn something different every time. And even though we've done 12 producers, it's been 12 different sessions and
Right.
totally unique.
Well, I think music should be collaborative, which is why, like, when I first moved here for for 7, I just quit a couple of years ago, but before I was even doing full time, for like 7 years, I hosted open mics just to get people in touch and get them out there and get people out of their shell. And on my website, I have a whole page just dedicated to other musicians, so that if someone reaches out and they're like, "Can you do this?" No, I can't. Go to this tab. They can contact a million other musicians to do the gig if I can't do it. So I think it should be sharing the wealth and sharing information, and it's more fun to do music collectively. Yes, it's great to do it on your own. Yes, you write your own stuff. But I think music is way more fun when you're collaborating and sharing the wealth and sharing information, and so.
And you're speaking in a time of the music industry when people are becoming more and more loners.
Well, again, I mean, mostly I do stuff alone, but there's a couple piano gigs I do where I have a guitarist who comes in with a lead guitar, and I'll play and sing. It's supposed to be kind of a little more bluesy, chill, sort of, and he'll do all this lead guitar stuff on top. I just love that gig. It's just so fun, because then he loves it, because he's able to just sit there and express himself, because he's like, "You get what I play here?" I'm like, "No, you do you." And he's able to create and have fun doing it. So he comes off on a high because he was able to be really creative about his guitar all night. I come off on a high because I was able to share that time with him, and kind of, because I'm not so magnificent on the piano that I want to take the lead stuff. Like I love having someone do that stuff on top of whatever I'm doing. I just think it's great. So I just find a lot of do your own stuff is awesome and needed, but to collaborate too is really fun.
That's how I actually learned the word jam.
Yeah.
We're using it differently nowadays, but when we used to jam, it was all freestyle.
Right.
We didn't. If we played a song together, we didn't call that jamming.
Right.
Jamming was when you did 12-bar blues. That was the only structure, and then everything else was just totally freestyle. So it's changed quite a bit, because I've tried some of these jam. You mentioned briefly, David, the other latency companies that do jamming, and that's not jamming to me. Get together and do pop songs. Anyway, it wasn't that much fun for me, so I didn't do it. But
Sorry.
No, that's great advice, though. That's what I'm saying. It's good that you're hearing it from Shannon, because I don't know if I'd say that. Anyway, so you've got more questions. Go ahead.
Well, she just asked what CD Baby was, so I sent the link.
Oh, yeah.
It typed in Krabby.com, which is so funny. CDBaby.com, and it's music distribution. So if you have songs you've already recorded and you want to get them out there, CD Baby will distribute them to places like iTunes, Apple Music. I don't know where all it goes. It goes a lot. Apple, iTunes, Apple, Spotify. I think you can also designate which sites you want it to go to. It's been a minute since I've gone online and done it. How do I deal with tiredness apart from sleep? 100%. I do have instances where my body is tired and it affects my voice very much. If you're tired, you're just tired, which is why sleep is important, and spray and this and tea, and don't pack your body full of sugar and then expect to be able to like function at top. And sometimes you just like I've gone into restaurant gigs where I'm tired and I'll decide, okay, I'm gonna Tracy Chapman it tonight, and I'll just do everything in a style that allows my voice to be relaxed, because some nights you're just tired. And I've gone into gigs too where I'm like, my voice is like, I'll do whatever you want tonight. I'm like, cool. And I'll just go for it with songs I don't normally do or my voice struggles with. I'm like, I'm singing that tonight because my voice feels good. It's rested, everything feels good, it feels open, and there's visualization stuff you can do. There's this whole, you should look into that. A good voice teacher will teach a lot of these things. And Brad has also taught me too, like, if you're singing, your larynx comes up, you need to, it's not helping you when it comes up. It thinks it is, but it's not. Like, there's a lot of visualization stuff that I do. Like, sometimes if I really want a song to get out there, I'll picture my voice landing at the end, the table at the back of the restaurant, because I want them to hear it and feel it too. Instead of picturing, if I'm trying to go for a high note, I'll picture my voice going down. And for a really low note, I'll picture my voice going up. So you're tricking yourself into not stretching or reaching for a note. Because people can hear that too, and it's hard on your throat. So I think getting maybe a book on how to visualize. These are things I've just learned over many years of different teachings through Brad, and I had another woman I worked with that taught me about visualization years ago. But a lot of visualization is really helpful, and then proper warming up. And I always do like some deep breathing when I'm driving in the car, just to kind of open my chest up, and so it allows you to, instead of relying on your voice for everything, it allows you to, it's just different techniques to allow your voice to expand and not wear your throat out. Because I've always said too, like, if you come home and your throat hurts, if my throat hurts, I was singing wrong. Because I want to be pulling the energy from down here and feeling go up through my head. Like, I always say I need to feel it coming out more through my head. And if I try to bypass my throat, I go, that sounds weird, but I try not to make my throat do any of the work. And I don't know how to explain that beyond, I guess, certain techniques I do. I don't want to do right now because they're super loud and they'd be hard on the microphone and you guys don't want to hear it. But there's certain techniques you can do where you feel it up in here and feel it coming from here, and your throat isn't doing the job. Because your throat gets, if you're singing with your throat all night, you're going to be done for a few days. Your throat, you won't be able to sing anymore. So it's kind of different from talking, which is why also something else I don't go out to bars at night. I don't go to venues where I'm talking really loud to people a lot. I'll be somewhere and with my friends, I'll be like, I gotta go. My throat's getting tired, and they all know because of what I do. They're like, see ya. Like, they know I gotta go home and turn it off. Because if you're trying to, nothing wears your voice out more than constant talking. And singing for me is a different muscle than me talking to you. Because right now it's all voice right now, which is what I can feel. But when I go to sing, I'll be doing, again, techniques where I'm making sure that noise is coming more from here, and the energy for it's coming from here, and not right there.
You know, Shannon, this would be interesting to you. I don't think I've mentioned to you, I'm actually going to speech therapy right now.
Oh.
Not because I lost my voice, but ever since I moved to Vegas, I've really felt struggling. And I've been blaming it on the dry air, so I went to that ENT doctor, and I'll wrap this up quickly so you'll understand. But he just said, well, I want you to go to a speech therapist. Like, oh, really? Nobody's ever said that before. I've had many different voice teachers, and when I was with Seth Riggs as his partner, I was there in his studio 8 hours a day teaching. He knew how much I was teaching. He was getting a commission, but that's not relevant. But he said, you're wearing your voice out from the way you're speaking. So now I'm talking like this, and she's got me doing these exercises, and it's the same concept. I told her, I says, this is exactly the same thing as the bel canto in singing, except for there's no head voice. But you don't want to feel it in your throat. You want to feel it blowing through the larynx and out in talking. It's more out your lips. But that might help you. I'm surprised how much it's helping me sing better.
Yeah, that's how it works when I sing.
Yeah.
It's totally different dynamic
so
when
I'm
I'm
learning how to
singing
speak
than when I'm
differently.
talking. I probably should learn that too, actually.
Yeah,
You're right.
and if your insurance covers it, it's a no-brainer.
Maybe.
It's not a lot of time. It's, I do the exercise before I start teaching as a warm-up. It's really been more effective than I ever would have imagined.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start recommending it more than I ever used to. And many of my singers don't talk a lot or don't worry about it. They don't sing that much. But for you, that I think that would be really good advice. And of course, that would be true for Robin and Alicia. That's another thing I wanted to mention. I can swear to Shannon saying that she collaborates with other singers because there's 2 or 3 other girls that I also teach. I can't remember which one of you started referring me. I think it was Alicia. But they all get along beautifully.
This is why I came to Brad. I heard these 2 girls. There's 3 girls I know that sing. And 2 of them I could hear the incredible advancement in their vocals. And I was like, all right, who's your voice teacher? Because I need this guy. And that's when I called Brad the first time. And I've been using you for years now. And so, yeah.
But you guys get along.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's
they're
what
great.
that's what blew my mind.
Oh, no, they're
3,
awesome.
4 female singers. They're all lead singers, all getting along. You see where I'm coming from. It's terrific, So collaboration, and I keep talking to them about. I have this dream of them doing a show, all 4 of them together, but they've never done it yet.
Well, one of them doesn't live here, so. I want to say one quick little thing about
Who moved?
Elizabeth. She's in Nashville.
Oh yeah, okay.
I want to say one quick little thing in case someone's watching this and they are trying to be a full-time musician. We haven't hit on this yet. If you want to be a full-time musician as well, don't be afraid to follow up. Managers are busy. Turnover is high often, depending on the restaurant. And I've had to re-establish myself in the same restaurant with probably 5 different managers in 7 years, and depending on the restaurant. So don't be afraid to follow up. Don't be afraid to reintroduce yourself. And when you do, too, I'll reach out to the restaurants to be like, hey, I'd love to be part of your music this year. If you're already booked out, that's awesome. Thank you for supporting artists. Reach out to me if you need anything. Here's my number. And I just make sure they know I'm here without trying to be like, I need work. But we all need work. But you just let them know, because they're crazy busy, too. So let them know you're here, reach out. And there's been one restaurant that I used to play at years ago. I haven't played there for 3 or 4 years. Every year, every spring and every winter, I'm like, hey, I'd love to do music if you're doing it, I'm here in town. If not, have a great winter, whatever. And this is the first time in 4 years, they're like, hey, we need you whatever Fridays you have open. Okay. So I booked a whole bunch of gigs with them because I try to be consistent. And you can't take it personally if they don't get back to you because managers also have their favorites. And then again, that turns over and that could change. So I just always say, don't ever take it personally if they don't get back to you. Just be professional and consistent and positive when you reach out. And be flexible when it comes to payments because everyone does it different. Some people do cash, some people do Venmo, some people need an invoice. When you get an invoice, sometimes it'll be weeks before you get paid. So I'll always do a follow-up as well. If it's been a few weeks, I'm like, hey, I know stuff gets lost in the mix. Just making sure this invoice didn't get, and sometimes they're like, oh crap, we never even submitted this. So don't be afraid to follow up if you haven't been paid. Just be real nice about it. And how can I help make this better? Here's the invoice again, just in case. And then just, again, treat it like a business. Always show up on time. Always be completely prepared. You should see the number of adapters I have now for plugging into other people's systems. Because I often use my own system. So have your own system at all times. But have adapters because you'll show up somewhere and you have to be the one that accommodates their system. Because this is what they got. And if you don't have the stuff to plug into it, you got to find a way to make it work. I've had to scramble lots of times, but I carry adapters, a whole bag of adapters in my bag at all times. And right now I just use a tower. I'm using the Harbinger tower, which is not very popular, but it's similar to the Bose or the Fishman. It's something I can carry it all at one time. It's not a light carry all at one time, but I can carry it all at one time.
Is that low feedback as well? I know the Bose system has that.
I don't know. I'm just never in front of it. It's always in front of me, but it plays back well. I can hear if I'm a foot behind it or 2 feet behind it, which I usually am. I can hear just fine.
Yeah,
without a monitor. Yeah. So it works great, and it's good for small space because every venue is different too. Some spaces you have a whole stage. Some spaces you have
you have a closet.
You have a very small space to use. So being completely self-contained, even to the point of I always have a 25-foot power cable with me. Because some venues are like, you're over here. You're like, where's the nearest outlet? And I always have that in like a multi-plug. And that's just from years of experience of going to places and realizing you need power, you need to have a multi-plug, you need to have, I even carry a thing for if someone's power is dirty. I've plugged in some places and just it sounds like crap. And it's because the source you're coming out of needs one of those little adapters. I'd have to look at what it is. I can't remember again. You plug in that in first and then plug into that and it'll clean up your audio. So I don't know, like it's being really stocked on your own so you can provide, probably a line conditioner, thanks David. So you can provide everything they need that they don't know they need. Because if you're that person too and you show up to a gig, they're like, ooh, call her again because she made life really easy for us. So having all that stuff, and it always lives in my car. Even if I go to a gig where I'm supposed to just plug and play, the number of times they're like, oh, this isn't working. I got it. You go out and get your stuff and you have it. I know that'd be harder if you're someone that takes a bus to gigs or something and you're just, but that's not the case here for me. So that's why I have all that stuff. Let's see, anything else I wanted to just tell people it's good for them to do if they're trying to work full time because I feel like it's, have you learned to work? Yeah, reach out, follow up often, have you keep your website up to date, have your Venmo and business cards at all times. Like have a Venmo card, like a thing that has a QR code to my website and a QR to Venmo and my email on there as well. So that because that started with COVID, not people weren't touching cash. So the Venmo came out then, but then I realized QR code to my site's good because then they can look at stuff. A lot of people actually print out their music and have like folders of their music. Like I said, I have 600 songs. So I just like, what do you like? Let's find something you like.
You were prepared.
And then, just have what you need, look the part, be on time, send invoices if needed, do the follow-up, whether it's for work or for payment. Don't be afraid to do that. I guess those are the things.
I'll recommend you as a consultant. You can charge if you want. You're telling me stuff that
I'm happy to
I
give
didn't think about we'd be talking about.
No, this info I feel like if you're trying to be full-time is stuff people need to know. And anyone I meet here that's new or is trying to do this stuff, like I'll meet random people at restaurants and I'll recommend places that they should go if they're trying to get started because someone's like, I just play piano. Okay, well check out these 3 places because sometimes they just want piano. They don't want vocals or whatever. I'm happy to share this stuff because I wouldn't be doing this full time if I hadn't had help. So
yeah, that for everyone who's thinking about, how do I meet people, how do I meet other musicians, how do I get gigs and so forth. I remember those days when that was one thing we would go see a performer and we would talk to them on their breaks.
Open
and
mics.
Like Shannon, they were usually pretty amenable to our questions, and we made contacts and found out about auditions. And,
Go to open mics too, especially if you're learning how to sing and you want to start getting good. You need to start hearing your voice. So you need to hear yourself accompanying yourself or whatever, and you'll also meet a lot of other musicians that way. I've seen people collaborate a lot through doing open mics. If you go to open mics, go to jams, find blues jams, find whatever suits your style. But open mics allow you to meet other musicians, allow you to get on stage, hear yourself mic'd up. You can start working through your kinks, start getting rid of the jitters.
The jitters.
Because a lot of people are really supportive at open mics too, because it's a lot of other musicians trying to do the same thing. So the support is there. People are actually listening, and unless it's in a bar, but still, whatever. That's good practice too. Learning how to sing around loud things, learning how to deal with tough patrons, inappropriate men, whatever. If you're a woman doing this, like you learn how to. It's just good to. That sort of practice is good for you.
Hey, you guys have mentioned sometimes you get an extremely high tip, and the first reaction is, it's from a man, right? So, put $100 in here. What do they want? But it's always been really good. It's always been because the singer was providing a particularly great feel to that song. But yeah, and any students here in Vegas, there's a lot going on here live. This is a very live town. A lot of jam sessions, a lot of open mics.
Right. But that's good for you. It's good to meet other people and collaborate.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was going to happen when I moved here from Los Angeles. It's like, people actually think about doing gigs here. Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah.
There it's all recording, get a record contract. Here it's, I just want to sing in a casino. I want to do weddings. So that's, Shannon and I meet a couple times every 2 weeks. So I said, hey, would you do this for me? And she's just been so kind and wonderful. Well, I can't think of anything else. Any other questions before we wrap it up? It's been a great 2 hours.
This is amazing.
Yeah. David says, he learns things too. And I've learned some things from David. He took what do you actually call that class? It was pedagogy, but
I sat in on an online course on acoustic vocal pedagogy, and they teach you things about both science and how to teach, like classical singing based on what the anatomy does and what you can listen for. With the help of, at first, using something like Voce Vista to look at the spectrum of the voice. So yes, the title you're looking for is the topic is called acoustic vocal pedagogy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what was great that I learned from you is that they've actually, figured out why we think we feel the sound in our head. Even though that's not necessarily a truism, I realized a long time ago, being someone on microphones, that there was no sound coming out of my head. There's no sound coming out of my chest. At least it's not that's audible, really. But why do we feel it in our head? And apparently, if I quote you right on this one, it's the nerve endings are particularly sensitive to those frequencies.
I forget what they're called, but there are some structures that are sensitive to vibrations.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they're called, but yes, you have those. And the interesting thing is, like, even when you think you're singing with very high frequency sound, apparently, like the structures are actually sensitive to lower parts of the sound than you would think you were actually sensing. I don't remember what the name of that thing was, but yes.
Well, the Italians started the head voice teaching with, that's all they could figure out. It's like, okay, what does the singer feel when they sing a high note? Oh, I feel it in my head. Oh, okay, well, that's cool. We'll call it head voice then, But now with all this new science, and I try to keep up on it, but I'm really more into helping people. But I didn't see any more questions come in. Sounds like we're good.
I think we got them all.
All right. Thank you, Shannon. Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad it was helpful. When I was getting ready to do this, I'm like, am I going to learn anything?
Can I do that too?
Say I'm going to learn anything.
There we go. Yeah. Thanks, Shannon. We loved it. David's got to do it too.
Yeah.
It's a unanimous. She's giving it back. Exactly, the camaraderie. Yeah. I think that's missing. I see as a coach that's missing in a lot of singers these days. They're all alone. They don't know. And I notice that I don't get a lot of referrals, and that's because they never meet each other.
Oh, I keep your number all the time, by the way. I don't know what people have called you because of that, but if I'm going to ask, like, I pass out your phone.
But you are active. That's what I'm saying. Some of my students are just out there on their own. They don't know what's going on. They don't meet anybody. They don't learn anything from anybody but me, and I'm all for the wild, wild west of YouTube and Instagram, but I'm just gotta tell you gotta be careful. A lot of that information will create habits in you that you will have to break later. So just be careful.
I do use it to learn songs, like guitar
sure.
stuff, but I don't use it for vocal stuff at all. I use you.
Well, thank you. But and even the guitar things, like they might, the person who gave you that information may be incorrect.
Yeah, but if you play it enough, you learn how to play a guitar. Mm-hmm. Everyone also plays guitar or piano in kind of their own style too. I think it's just like the voice. You sort of treat the instrument in a way that feels good to you. So
yeah. So you put that down on YouTube, and that's fine. But just as a watcher of YouTube, be aware that that's the way Shannon does it, and that's the way she likes it. If you want to change it, feel free.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. I told everybody last time I'll be slowing down on the podcast till next year because I want to start putting out short podcasts for you guys to watch that are only. Thank you, Natasha. Natasha's been here. She's been terrific.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
good questions,
yeah, she does. She doesn't ask stupid things. She's very experienced. You can tell that by her questions. But anyway, but I'll be putting out short little shorts on the podcast we've done so that people don't have to listen to it for 3 or 4 hours
Okay.
if they don't want to. So
Yeah.
be aware of that. And thank you again, you all. I'm enjoying these podcasts. I'm learning a lot. I'm keeping myself out there. People know who's going on and what's going on. And I love the honesty that you all bring to the sessions. I don't feel that we try to bull people. I won't swear. We try to tell people, oh, it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that, when it's not going to be like that at all. But if you know what the reality is, as Shannon will tell you, it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. It is.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
If you know what the reality of performing is, it's a lot of fun. If you know what the fantasy is, if you read the magazines and they tell you it's this or that, that's what gets you so you don't want to do it. Because that doesn't work.
No, but this is a really fun way to make money. And even like some nights, like Natasha asked, are you tired? Yeah, and sometimes I'm tired and sometimes I don't feel like it. But then I remind myself, you get to sing for a living. So change that mindset right now. And usually, every time I'm out playing, I do love it. It's just some nights it doesn't matter what you do, you don't want to go to work. But once I get there, I might remind yourself, I get to sing to make a living. Like, this is pretty freaking awesome. So
Yeah. And she gets to treat herself like an athlete, which is a healthy
definitely
thing.
have to treat myself like an athlete.
Well, I was going to mention that earlier. I said some of these things you're talking about, performing athletes do exactly the same thing. So yeah, it's great all the way around. And
Yeah.
David needs to get out of his cubicle there and exercise so he can talk to me because I drain him. Poor guy.
I do exercise.
No, I'm sure you do. Unfortunately, you and I, we just see each other in our cubicles.
Yeah, it is true. I live under a rock.
But is there a rock on top of it? Is it what kind of rock is it? Made me curious.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll actually wrap it up. Thanks again, everyone. Talk later.
Natasha
Bye-bye.
wants to know when the next one is.
When the next one, I don't know. I'm talking to a couple of producers about next year, but you certainly will get a email regarding it. Plus, I think you get something from Eventbrite as well. I think as soon as I open it, you get an
Let me
No?
answer
No?
this for Natasha real quick. The steam room, you can't really overdo a steam room for your voice, because if you live somewhere like I lived in Houston before that, like, it's humid all the time. Your voice is fine with it. You don't want to do a steam room too long just for the heat of your body. Like, you need to step out of there when your body's had enough. For your voice, though, I mean, you can't really over moisturize. I have learned you can't really over moisturize your voice. So really, just do it as long as your body can do it, and that's still good for your voice. So you're not really going to overdo it.
Yeah, if the steam room seems especially hot, breathe through your nose. If you go and you feel it, that you don't want that heat on your cords. So you breathe through your nose, it gives it a chance for it to cool down a little bit before it gets to your cords.
Yeah.
And that was something I learned from many, many years of experimenting as well. I was that person doing it full time 5 nights a week in a band, and it is hard. Actually, 6 nights.
Yeah.
6 nights a week, 5 sets a night. I don't know. I guess I was having fun because I don't know why I did it.
Right.
Thinking back. But yeah, my voice was trashed all the time. So her advice is good. Yeah, don't do what I did. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye. Oh, I am.
And then in far play.
Oh, hi.
shut
Yeah.
things off.
Just turn off and just leave FirePlay now.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Nice to meet you, David.
You're so nice.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't she wonderful?
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Well, hopefully I ask the right people to do these things.
yeah, that was amazing.
Well, hopefully someone gets something out of that.
Yeah.
Then that'll be good.
They will. I mean, even if they don't show up to these things, they watch them, And I know Mayat has done a tremendous, he called them Google Hangouts, and he did a lot of them, and he still has people coming out saying, I just watched the 4th hour of that one Google Hangout you did, and what you said.
Yeah, you can't really gauge it by who's here, because this stuff lives online forever. So someone might listen to it down the road, and then it can help someone with whatever their business if they're trying to do this, which is my goal.
Yeah.
So.
I'm so glad I got to meet you.
You too. Thank you. You've been very helpful, very knowledgeable on what you're doing over there.
Ditto.
He is. I tell people who I'm trying to convince to go to FirePlay, David's the best customer technical assistant I've ever worked with.
Right.
Just nobody even comes close.
Right.
Everybody else is either trying to get you off the phone or they won't even come on the phone in the first place. Just go read this,
Right.
Okay, thanks a lot, buddy. So it's I don't even look at other companies if they say, oh, come try me. I said, no, thanks.
I'm good.
And I get some of these companies, they want me to teach with their system. And I ask them, do you have latency correction? No. No, no thanks. Do you have customer support? Well, yeah, sure, you can read this. No, no thanks. I don't even get interested, David.
There's a lot of those companies where they try to do it on a website.
Yeah.
And then it looks really flashy on the preview video, but then when you go, if it's really on the website, then it's going to be kind of laggy. And then, so then there will be some stuff you can't do. And I think one of them, not going to say the name because I don't remember which one it was and I don't want to badmouth someone incorrectly,
Sure,
but I think one of them, they don't even require their students to use headphones, which must mean that there's some sort of echo cancellation going on.
Yeah.
And even if you do it really, really nicely, like on FaceTime, you can do echo. There's echo cancellation on stuff like FaceTime, which is pretty decent for what it is, but it's still not the same as let's just have pristine audio.
Right.
Well, it's not even their goal.
Yeah.
Shannon can attest to this. The way that I coach is very interactive.
Yeah.
And so when people were saying in the COVID thing, well, just send him a piano part and let him sing with it, and then you can listen. No, thank you. That's not interactive to me.
Yeah, what if you want to dynamically adjust something?
Well, I even changed the tempo
Yeah.
while I'm playing.
Yeah.
My hands are sensing what they're
Yeah.
doing. So that's the way I was taught.
Yeah.
And I'm not going, just because COVID came in.
Yeah.
And it's like I told you a long time ago, David, during that period I had a lot of students doing a cappella because
Yeah.
I couldn't control the tempo and so forth, but
Yeah.
I at least could interrupt them quickly and, get involved,
Yeah.
instead of sitting back and going, okay, I'll have some tea while they sing, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, no, thank you. There's one of them that even we use Grammy teachers, people who belong to the Grammys. Well, I belong to the Grammys too, and so I took a look at it, but I was not about to use their system, so no, thank you.
Yeah.
They said, well, you won't need latency cancellation the way we do it. Well, that's because your teaching is, in my opinion, subpar.
That sounds like voicelessons.com.
It wasn't. Maybe it was. I
There are a couple
I didn't
of
even
them.
care.
Yeah.
I was like, you got me with the Grammy thing.
Yeah.
I'll check this out. But
Yeah.
it did take me long to say no, and I don't take their emails anymore either. I just don't have time for this stuff. I learned from Seth Riggs. He's the number one guy in the world, bar none. Guy's almost a household name. And I do things the way he did. The only thing that I won't talk about a lot about this because I get on a soapbox. The only where we split though is I don't have a book on technique singing.
Oh, yeah.
And I refused to make one, and
Uh-huh.
and he did one back in the '80s when we were partners, and it was part of why we separated. But so yeah, great guys. Have a great afternoon, and of course wonderful evening, and enjoy whatever singing or anything that you do.
All right. Nice to
Enjoy
meet
your
you.
holidays.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.